Okay, welcome to Modmod Initial Setup. This is just going to explain what you need to do to get started within Modmod. Just the basics, get things generally working. So you're going to want to start by coming into the settings here. And there's a bunch of different tabs here in the settings. We're going to start with the AI providers. And you have to initially, I guess, decide what provider you want to be mainly using. I would always recommend choosing a very cheap and fast chat model. So I'm using Gemini 2.5 Flash Lite because it has fast responses. It can search, it can do internet web searches really quick, and it's generally a cheap model. You could choose whatever you want though for the chat model. You basically have your choices of LM Studio models, which are local, ChatMock, which utilizes your OpenAI subscription, or connecting to the OpenAI API directly. OpenRouter, which has a ton of models. If you click test here, there's 338 models available. Right now, I just have OpenRouter, OpenAI, and Gemini hooked up. So if I click test on these ones, it'll show how many models are available. And you just put in your API keys for whatever one you want to use, or connect to your server URL for ChatMock or LM Studio. And that's good. You're set up. You can also set the default model so that every time you switch to that provider, it will start up with the default model that you've chosen. So for ChatMock here, you're going to want to have your own ChatMock server running to connect to. And that just allows you to connect to OpenAI and use your subscription instead of using an API key. Going through some of the tabs here, don't worry about hybrid provider. This is something I'm working on, but it's not fleshed out, it's not finished, so it's disabled for now. General, this just shows the provider timeout. So 5 minutes is the default for all providers, and if they don't return a response within 5 minutes, then it will time out. That's set to 5 minutes for me right now because I test agents and them running tasks for me, and if it's set to like a minute or whatever, sometimes they'll be doing a task and not finish in time. So I have that set to 5 minutes. You can change that to whatever you want. An autosave does kick in every 60 seconds right now as a backup, but generally in the app, whenever you change any setting, it will automatically save with when you write in the new setting. The sandbox is where the AI can essentially play, where it can create files and stuff. And it defaults to the sandbox folder within your within your Modmod folder. You can change it to whatever you want though. And generally that is where agents will be working, just so you know. The theme allows you to change your theme color. You can do that down here as well. You're generally going to want to leave all the orchestration execution things on, toggles on here. These just help different modules work in parallel. It's multiple things happening at the same time, essentially, to give you an answer faster. Preemptive hints are just when you start typing in your query box and you stop for 1.5 seconds, it will do a memory retrieval search based on what you've typed so far, just to help speed up the process of returning memories to you quickly. In the chat tab here, we have a document output trigger word, or phrase, I guess it should say. I gotta change that. But right now I have it set to write me and if you say write me a document that explains the newest AI tech in February of 2026, whatever, the AI will search up what you asked and then write a document based on it, and these are the trigger words that need to be said for that to trigger. Now for deep research, you can set the agent. It needs the web research agent, which you can set up in here. That's a whole other video. We'll get to that eventually. In the chat, summaries will get triggered based on how often you set this. So after 50 messages, a summary will trigger that sums up 25 of those messages into a couple paragraphs and bullet points. So you can set those here. And that's just to keep the token usage as low as possible. You can raise or lower these numbers and it will adjust accordingly. Notes, these are basically just settings on how often the AI will take notes based on what you said. And notes are basically just temporary memories. So they're tied to the chats. As you have chats build up here and you start new chats and stuff, the AI will automatically create notes based on things you've said. And when you delete a chat in the chat history, it will also delete the notes that go along with it. So it's kind of like a temporary memory feature. KV cache just helps keep the token usage lower as well. It just doesn't resend the same prompts all the time. It's helpful. It's not currently implemented fully, but it is in there to some working degree right now. And for the debug, this is just to enable all the debugs and to figure out what's going on with the app. Whenever you want to find any issues, you can turn on the debug. Like if you're having a problem with speech to text, you enable this and then ask it a question and see what's happening in the console. But as for the chat module, you can turn on and off the notes here. It'll show them, they'll populate as the AI creates notes for you. There's a text size feature. You can change that. You change your AI provider and model here and here. So if I want to switch to OpenAI, then it'll populate this list and I can choose what model I want here. But I'm going to go back to Google because I want this model. You also have an attachments button where you can attach things, or you can just drag things in. So if I drag this in and say, what do you think of this image? The AI will be able, well, depending on the model you're using.
That is a fascinating and surreal image.
Okay, I'm going to just pause it so it doesn't keep talking. But depending on the model you're using, it can see the image and you can click on the image here. It'll bring up the full size and then you can zoom in, zoom out, fit, or close it. And right now we don't have audio uploading. Like I can't upload a song to it and have it listen to the song. That is something I will add in the future, but you can attach images or documents for now. I would also stay away from PDFs for now, large ones, because that's just a ton of information to send to a model at once. I am working on adding PDF support, but currently it's still not implemented. Now, the two other options here, you can do deep research here, and based on the settings, you can set the minimum. So minimum sources that the AI will have to search before it returns an answer to you, and the minimum duration that it has to search. And it's a feature that isn't fully fleshed out yet. Last time I used it, it worked, but who knows right now. Let's see, let's test it. I'm going to turn off proactive mode. Perform deep research on the newest AI news of the last week. Okay, so with the Google provider anyway, it looks like deep research is broken. I think it works with OpenAI currently, so if you're using that provider, it should be okay. I'll have to get to this in the future. But anyway, that's the gist of getting started. Your chat history module just holds all the chats that you start. So like I have this chat that's going right now. I can start a new one and say, hello. And now I have two chats that I can switch back and forth to. So that's the basic rundown of the settings, the chat, and the chat history modules. That should get you started. And stay tuned for more videos on other modules.